Hey everyone, this video is designed to help you understand what goes into making simple log furniture and simple projects as far as time and tools and materials. A lot of times people will have trees in their yard that have overgrown and are too close to their house that they become potential hazards. And then they think, well, how can I make use of this tree? I could chop it down and burn it and use it as heat, or chop it once and sell it as whole, or chop it up myself and make things out of it. Well, I happen to have a 40-foot eastern red cedar that I wanted to cut down, as you see here. So the first thing I asked is, well, what could I make out of it so that I know what sizes to cut it into? So what I did first is I cut this tree at the bottom and left it in the woods to slowly dry out in the shade. It was a heavily wooded area. I left it for a year, then I came back the next summer and then chopped it up into 4-foot pieces, 5-foot pieces, and then I brought it inside. So what I'll show you now is the tools and the process that I used to make these long rips through the logs. So if you want to cut straight boards, use this cutting guide right here. You pick it up for $20 or $30. And we have a 5-foot eastern red cedar here, about 11 inches in diameter. You put a 2x4 or a 2x6. Use a square to figure out. So what I'd like is to get 3 boards out of here, or 1 board and then 2 halves. So you just do your measurements. You put little shims as you need, and you do the same on the other side. Make sure that everything's nice and straight, and then all you got to do is hook this up to your chainsaw and make your cuts. And then you move it over every time you want to. Of course, you unscrew and rescrew, and there you have it. Okay, so with the first pass, there's I'd say 1/3, and fairly straight. And now I've reset this 2x6 and made sure that this is square here, and that the distance from this point to this point is the same as down there. That way this thing will be a nice straight and even board. And all right, number 2. So that was the first cut. There's the second cut, right there. And the middle piece, that's about 3 inches. So because this tree has seasoned for a whole year outside, I was able to start sanding and finishing it within 2 months of bringing it in the basement here. So to reduce checking, like you see on this little piece, this is just a little piece that I cut here. So to reduce this checking and cracking, you can apply an end coat to slow the drying. You want the wood to dry, of course, but at a slow enough rate. So what you do is you can seal the ends of your logs and then use a moisture meter, like you see here, to measure the moisture content. Since here we're making very simple wood furniture, nothing fancy, Anything below, I'd say 15% is just fine. Since we see the moisture meter showing 10% or below, we're ready to finish to sand and finish as we need. So uh, I got myself here a gallon of Penacryl. It's a wood stabilizer, and normally if you have small enough projects, you're supposed to immerse your wood completely in this stuff. But because it's so expensive, the more you use, the better. But it's not absolutely necessary to completely. What you're trying to do is just reduce the checking. This Penacryl takes the place of it fills the wood cells themselves and keeps them from shrinking. So after the moisture has reduced to less than, say, 15%, and after you have stabilized the wood, you can now begin sanding and planing as you need. You'll have more or less sanding, of course, depending on the look you're going for. Well, what I've done on these few coffee log tables here that you see, I've sanded, I want to say, maybe 80% of what I could have, but left the rest alone to give it some of that rustic look that you see. Here on this 7-foot piece, I've sanded maybe, I want to say, 70%. You can see the black streaks that I've left in the tree. Once you've sanded as much as you want, then it's time to apply your finish. You can stain or use lacquer or polyurethane or water-based finishes like acrylic. Oils give it the most natural look. With this piece, I noticed that it's been consumed by what looks like to be the bark beetle, giving it this interesting look. And that's the beauty of making rustic furniture out of rough cut wood. Each piece is unique. So rather than sanding the grooves and holes, I left it, giving it this unique look. And then I found 4 fairly symmetrical um, branches for the legs, and then just attach them with 3 brackets each. It's very simple. Then I took another little piece and using a hole saw, I made a candle holder centerpiece. And with these few pieces that I showed you, there's still maybe 20 or 30 feet of wood still completely untouched. So a little bit of wood goes a long way. I hope you enjoyed this vid and got something out of it, and we'll see you next time.